Hello and welcome back. Tony Caliendo with Rethink Coaching, and welcome back to Module 3. As always, we're so glad you're here. And just a quick check-in with you before we move on. How are you doing with your homework and your assignments? I know sometimes it's tempting to just move through the modules, and ultimately it's really important that you do take the time and you do the homework that we're assigning so that you are progressively moving forward. This is going to continue to build. And when it builds and you are not staying up on your homework, it can really create stress for you at some point. So please make sure at the end of every module, when we assign homework and activities and commitments for you to do, that you're actually implementing those in your business and taking the time to do it. I know some of the modules take less than an hour with homework, and some, as you see as we move forward, are going to take closer to 3 to 4 hours, depending upon the activity or the tool that we introduce into the module. So please just make sure that you're paying attention and you're doing the work. Remember, leap of faith, right? Take the leap, the net will appear. We are your net. So just take that leap of faith and do the work and know that it is building towards a really phenomenal, strong business for you. So module 3, we're going to continue to talk about lead generation. You're going to hear that word a lot throughout this course, and also when you're working with your one-on-one coach and in the group coaching programs. We're going to talk about the importance of lead follow-up, because lead generation without lead follow-up is honestly a pretty big waste of time. We're going to talk about what it looks like to prospect versus market. And then again, we're going to revisit branding your business and just taking a look at what that could look like for you. So let's start here. This is a really interesting fact. I don't know if you remember back module 1, we talked about, as entrepreneurs or as business people in the real estate world, we like to lead generate to find the right now. I mean, what a great return of investment on your time that when you call somebody from your database, they reach out and say, yes, I'm ready to do something immediately, or a client walks into open house and they're ready to buy that day. That is truly amazing. And we're really kind of geared towards finding that, because that's just how we're encoded as salespeople, entrepreneurs. The reality is, through your lead generation, you're going to find few right now clients versus the many clients who say yes, yet not now. So it's really important that we focus on follow-up. This is a fascinating statistic. 20% of your business is going to come from lead generation. 80% is going to come from lead follow-up. So I'm going to say that again. 20% is going to come from lead generation. That's that right now. That's that lead that's going to do something in 30 days. 80% is going to come from lead follow-up. That's the folks that are the nurturers, the ones that are saying, hey, not now, not in the next 30 days, but 31 days or longer, I'm going to do something. That's where 80% of our business is going to come from. So it's going to take a moment to train yourself to be okay with identifying a nurture, be okay with adding a name to your database, knowing that if you do your follow-up correctly, you'll convert them to a lead, you'll convert them to a client, and you'll convert them to a sale. So again, lead generation without lead follow-up, not an effective use of your time. You're going to be frustrated because if you're constantly searching for the right now, it's going to take a lot more work and you're losing 80% opportunity. Creating a solid stream of income when you have impactful follow-up. So just, think about it. As we meet people and we put them into our pipeline, which is a tool that you're going to learn about, and they're requiring some follow-up, right, to keep them engaged, that is where your solid stream of income is going to be. So think about this. I am somebody that you reach out to and one of your sources of lead generation. And I tell you, you know what? I am getting a job transfer. I'm not going to be transferred for 4 months. However, I will need to sell my house, and then I'm relocating to a different state where I'll be buying a new home. If I just say, okay, you know what? They're not ready right now, I'm just moving on, and I never follow up with that person, the likelihood of them reaching out to me is less, because they're going to feel weird. Well, gosh, he knew that I was thinking about doing something. I haven't heard from him, so maybe he doesn't want to work with me. I'm just going to find another agent. Or that person meets somebody in California, the state they're moving to, and they're like, oh my gosh, I happen to know a great agent in your city that could help list your house. So lead follow-up is really important. it's kind of like you're priming the pump and the water's getting ready to come out of the spigot, and then you stop, and then you disappear, you leave the well, and a week later, somebody else walks by to pump to get water, and you primed it so the water comes out immediately. That's really the same thing for lead generation and lead follow-up. Don't prime the pump of getting the person excited and committing to doing something, buying or selling, and then you walk away and do not follow up. It is the way to interrupt that stream of income. So I'm going to go back to a little bit of lead generation here and talk about it, and make sure you're clear on the difference between lead generation and lead follow-up. So lead generation, again, is proactive. I'm taking an activity with the intention of generating a lead or a nurture or a name to add to my database. It is immediate result oriented. And again, what I mean by that is I've identified somebody who's a right now, less than 30 days or 30 plus. So I am getting immediate results, right? Don't confuse that with, well, it doesn't matter. It's not immediate if they're not going to buy today. Immediate results are you've identified somebody who's going to do something with you in the future. Marketing is more passive. It's very long-term oriented. Okay. So it's to keep your brand and your awareness in front of people, not necessarily just the people you've done lead generation activities with. So lead generation is proactive, marketing is more passive, and again, long-term. So lead generation prospecting, remember, it's direct two-way communication is probably the most effective way, picking up the phone and calling. And that could be database calls for sale by owners, expireds. It could be vendor calls. I mean, sometimes we forget that our title rep also has a database, and they know people outside of their industry that are thinking about selling, buying, or investing. It could give you a referral. It could be lead genning, circle prospecting, speaking opportunities. If you get a chance to go talk to a group of potential buyers, a speaking opportunity for first-time home buyers, or speaking opportunity for people who are selling a home for the first time. Door-to-door prospecting, that's door knocking. Networking opportunities, that is going to a networking event. So going to a function with the intention of networking, meeting as many people at that function as you can with the intention of getting their contact information and having a two-way conversation. Trade shows, another great way for lead gen and to prospect for clients. So now several agents who do this, they go rent a booth at a bridal fair, right? That's a trade show. And they're meeting young couples who are in the process of getting married. And a lot of times that involves combining households. Sometimes they're both renting and they're going to both terminate their leases and move into a house. Sometimes they both own a home on their own and they're going to sell both houses and buy one together. Trade shows are a great way to do proactive lead generation. And then events. It's another great way to do lead gen, which an event is an event. You know that. Hybrid, which is a little bit of prospecting with just a little bit of marketing in there. So think about this: your sphere of influence, past clients, vendors, and other agents. You have made contact with them. You've communicated with them. Remember, in one of the scripts, we say occasionally I send out information that about the housing industry or about real estate that's important. Do you mind if I send it to you? Whatever you send to them is a combination of prospecting with some marketing. So that might be a newsletter. It could be a postcard. It could be a market update. It could be a lot of things. So, networking, farming, geofarm, demographic area. If you're looking to go after seniors who are moving from their home independent into a more community type of place. So geofarming, marketing could involve sending postcards. Marketing could involve sending handwritten notes. Marketing could involve dropping off collateral at the person's home and leaving it on the doorstep while they're not there. And then another form of prospecting with some marketing would be if you purchased a membership to BNI, if you purchase leads from Zillow, right? They're advertising a little bit. It's somewhat marketing you as the agent. If you pay for a sponsored ad or you pay for your profile to be highlighted on any of those, that is marketing in addition to prospecting. I would highly encourage, we don't do one without the other. Marketing is great. It's long-term, but prospecting is where you're going to get the most traction the quickest. And then our marketing activities, right? We may choose, if we're going to choose to do marketing, long game. We may choose TV, radio, billboards, magazine, vehicle wrapping, local sponsorships. So a lot of agents will take out an ad in a local newspaper or advertise in a way that they sponsor a softball team, right? And they buy the T-shirts, sponsored by Tony Caliendo with XYZ Brokerage. Internet advertising, social media, Facebook ads, pay-per-click, Instagram, all of those are ways to advertise and market. Websites clearly is a source of marketing. Blogs are another source of marketing. Podcasts, that can be a source of marketing. Direct mail, great way to market, right? You could send out just listed, just sold postcards. So what do I mean by that? We list 123 Main and we send out a postcard to the 50 homes around that house saying, hey, I just listed 123 Main. If you'd like more information, please feel free to reach out to me. Send them a postcard announcing the listing that you just took. And then once it closes and sells, you send out a postcard to the same 50 homes announcing that you sold the property. So it's a great way of marketing for you. Newsletters, again, you might send a monthly newsletter. Postcards, we've talked about handwritten notes. Gosh, team, I cannot express the importance and the value of handwritten notes. And I know for some younger generations or some folks that just aren't used to doing it, I will tell you, the power of a handwritten note is incredible. I don't know if any of you have ever received a birthday card or a thank you note from someone and it's handwritten. And as you gather your mail out of the mailbox, I sort mine and I look at the handwritten notes and those go to the top of the pile for me to open. And I open those and I'm excited because somebody's taken the time to customize and write a note to me. So handwritten notes are a great form of marketing. And then another source of marketing would be promotional items. So you might wear logoed golf shirts, or you might give out logoed koozies or logoed notepads or a calendar to put on your refrigerator or a football schedule. Those are some other swag promotional items. Some people do the recyclable grocery bags and it's got your brand on them. Sponsorship, again, you might choose to sponsor an event, softball team, bowling league. You might be a sponsor in a major event for the city where you get, you get extra exposure by becoming a sponsor at different levels of sponsorship. And then press releases. You can always do a press release about your business. So proactive prospecting, lead generation, combo, where you're doing proactive and doing some marketing as follow-up, and then just strict marketing where, again, that's long game that you may not get an immediate hit from, but it is creating that awareness of your business or your brand to other people that are seeing and are receiving it. So all are great. Again, proactive prospecting is the one thing that you've got the most control over and can generate your leads the quickest. We talked about this a little bit, branding. What do you want your image to be? Have you taken some time to really sit and think about that? What do I want it to be? And here's what I'm going to invite you to think about. How you start this game of real estate or this business of real estate may not be how you end it. And what do I mean by that? I started real estate as an individual agent. It was just me. I didn't give a whole lot of thought to branding. It was just me, Tony Caliendo, right? And I leaned into the broker's logo and marketing, which I learned later in life was risky because then you become attached to the brokerage in a way that may not be beneficial if you were to ever leave. So when I say think long term, shortly after I started my career as an individual, my business grew to the point that I couldn't handle the amount of leads I was getting. And that's not being braggadocious or egotistical. It just was the reality. I did a great job with my prospecting. I did a great job with my follow-up. I did a great job with my business sources and consistency. And I got to the point where I had too many leads for me to handle on my own. So I formed a team. That is when I realized the importance of branding, because all of a sudden it wasn't just me. I had buyer's agents, I had listing agents, I had a showing specialist, I had administrative support. I had the whole gamut of people, and I was now an organization, not just Tony Caliendo. And one of my mentor coaches at the time and I were talking about this venture I was going on of launching a team. And she simply said to me, you think about your brand, that it could be something that you might be able to sell further down the line, which is exactly what I did. That you could sell your team. And do you want to have it be your name? So like Caliendo and Associates, Caliendo Group. I didn't really want to sell my name. So I logoed and branded it something that if I sold, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't so personal. So when I say think long term, think long term. I didn't realize that I was going to have the success I had as quickly as I had it in real estate. And I was very fortunate. And I wasn't prepared from a brand standard. I wish I would have branded myself early on. I didn't. So I'm just inviting you to think about this early on in your career. What do you want your brand to be? And then make sure it's compliant with your broker, with the National Association of Realtors, with the MLS board and rules and regulations, because you don't want to violate anything. So some local boards will not allow you to use the word associate. Some brokers will not allow you to use the word associate. Some will not allow you to use words that imply that you're a brokerage. And so they're very specific. It, could be the Dallas Superstar team, Dallas Superstar group, Dallas Superstar and associates. Maybe, maybe not. So check with your broker and check with your local board. Consider hiring someone to help you design your image. Again, Fiverr, there's some great services out there that can be very inexpensive way to create a logo that you're proud of. Ensure branding is available for all of your marketing and across all mediums. So, you've got your website, you've got cards, you've got letterhead, you've got social media, thank you cards, all of that stuff. You might have letterhead. You might have a banner, you might have just different things. So just ensure that the logo and the brand will translate well onto things. We have baseball caps that have our logo on it. So just really think about big picture, long-term, what you want your branding to look like. So think of how you explain your business and image to someone to create it, and then research 3 areas that can create a logo or brand for you and price them out accordingly. And so just really take your time in this, because I always say this, branding yourself is like getting a tattoo. Once you do it, it's what you got moving forward. And it's more challenging to rebrand yourself in the future than to just do it right out of the chute. It's kind of like you see those funny commercials where people got a typo or got something tattooed on them that wasn't really representative of who they truly were. You want to do the same thing with your logo. Just make sure it's something you'll be proud of, that's timeless, and that if you chose to sell your business to somebody else, that you could sell it with the logo and the brand with it, and it's not taking part of your personality or your personal marketing with them. I mean, you never know. You might leave real estate and go into something else, and you want to use your name for it. But if it's attached to your to that real estate company, you might have to sign over all rights to your last name. Can you imagine what that might look like? So for your commitments for today, I'm going to ask that you really spend some time thinking about what you want it to look like. Probably one of the easiest things to do, go to the website, go onto local brokerages in your area, just check out what agents are doing, pull them up, go to the, let's just say you went to Coldwell Banker and you looked at the local agents and you started just pulling up and clicking on each person to see how they were branding themselves and learning from them, looking at their websites, just get some ideas about what you want it to be, because by the end of this, you're going to be in production. By the end of these modules, I promise you, you're going to be close to leads, and you're going to be close to working in production, and you're already talking about yourself. So this would be a phenomenal time for you to decide on what type of branding you'd like to do for yourself and your business. So lean into the experts. I can barely draw a stick figure and make it look great. So I hired somebody for our coaching logo. I've also hired somebody to do our real estate logo. So take the time necessary to make it work for you. All right, team, we will see you tomorrow. Any questions? Don't forget, you've got your group coaching that you have access to, and you've got your one-on-one coach, and you always have access to me if you need it. I'll talk to you soon.